Stephen A., it seemed to me Game 2 and Game 3 was the same game. We just reversed the roles. Give me your power of observation after watching those 48 minutes.
Well, first of all, I am diametrically opposed to your theory that it was the same game. Steph Curry showed up in this particular game. That's the difference. He played like a two-time MVP, particularly in the second half. He had 11 of his last 13 shots. He finished with 35 on the evening. He was on target. And I think it's a grave mistake that the Houston Rockets made because they softened up defensively. Mike D'Antoni pointed that out. They weren't as aggressive. They certainly wasn't as physical. And as a result, ultimately, he got him going. There was a point in time in the first half where I actually saw Steph Curry hesitating to shoot, looking to pass the ball or go to the basket as opposed to launch his jump shot. And usually when you're devoid of some confidence, that's usually what you do, even when you're a shooter. But once he got going, because obviously Houston didn't amp it up defensively, you saw what happened. And I think they paid the price for that.
Stephen A., we get Steph Curry going. We've seen 3 games so far now. Have you seen enough to know where the crux of this series lies going forward?
Houston has to win Game 4 or this series is over in 6 games. I don't have enough confidence in Golden State to think that they'll go back and win Game 5 in Houston. I saw how that crowd in H-Town was acting in Game 2. I saw how the players fed off of that. More importantly, I saw how there was some, I don't want to call it intimidation on the part of the referees, but when you're on your home court and you have an MVP to be in James Harden and a future Hall of Famer in Chris Paul, you're going to get some calls. So I anticipate that will happen in Game 5, and as a result, the Rockets will win Game 5. So that means Game 4 is incredibly pivotal because if Golden State comes out and they handle their business in Game 4, then you've got Game 6 right back here at the Oracle, and there will not be a Game 7. So Houston has got to win Game 4. The pressure is on them to step up and produce. The fact that they got waxed tonight, that they got completely obliterated, actually spells good news for them because you know they're going to be up and ready to go for Game 4 because they're going to view a 3-1 deficit as being the end, and they're going to do everything they can to avoid that scenario. James Harden, 20 points tonight. Chris Paul, 13. That ain't going to cut it. Your 2 best players need to play better. They know it because they know what's at stake, and that's why D'Antoni said what he said in the post-game conference. The Houston Rockets season is on the line come Game 4. There is no other narrative to even be thinking about.